Hello, John. How are you?
Very good morning, Sai. Doing great. How about you?
All well, my friend. Thank you so much. Want to welcome everyone to the Agility, Resilience, and Anti-Fragility in Practice panel conversation. This is associated with the Agility, Resilience, and Anti-Fragility 2022 virtual conference coming up in November, hosted by both the Anti-Fragility Institute as well as the Friends of Anti-Fragility. To get us started, I would love for you to introduce yourself briefly, John.
Thank you, Sai. Very good morning, folks. My name is John Sherian. I'm an organizational agility coach. I partner with organizations, individuals, and teams to ensure that they can reach their potential, be as efficient as possible, not just to add value to the organization, but to add value to themselves as well. And on this journey of learning, here I am to dig deep dive into agility, resilience, and anti fragility. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. And ever so briefly about myself, I'm a coaching consultant with a focus on transformation and change, where I partner with organizations to calibrate, if you will, their business models and operating models to maximize their impact. At the same time, I look at myself as a catalyst or an alchemist, and I really help clients embrace what I call the sacred triad: reality, human nature, and their own identity. Through aliveness and their own aliveness, they can achieve that impact. I have more than 40 years, far too many years, if you will, more than 40 years of experience in both practice and theory. And likewise, I really am keen on leveraging, as I like to say, theory driven practice and practice informed theory. So, very, very eager to bring our guests in. Let's go ahead and have them join us as they introduce themselves. So, by all means, welcome.
Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
Hey.
Excellent. Excellent. So, as we get settled in, would love for you to introduce yourself, folks, and maybe we start off with Maria and just kind of tell us who you are.
Hello, everybody. I am Maria Marenko. I am an innovation coach at a big corporate called Robert Bosch. And I also have a side business as an entrepreneur. I do coaching and storytelling trainer. And my mantra is to choose better problems. So I help people choose better problems. That has to do with anti-fragility. We'll see about that.
Excellent. Excellent. It's in my friend. How about you?
Yeah, I'm Etienne Dusser. I'm French. I'm engineer in HR since 1.5 year. I'm diversity manager in Bosch, in the Bosch corporate. And but also I'm also facilitator, and I at least have a formation of agile coach, even if I never had the opportunity to work as one.
Wonderful. And last but never least, Norbert.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Yeah, as Sai said, my name is Norbert Mitwonnen. I'm from Germany originally and still there. And I'm also at Bosch Corporate for 32 years now. And currently, I'm engineering director at headquarters in Stuttgart and doing governance and try to control everything well. I also have a sideline like Maria. My hobby is finance and investment, and we consult private investors. For that, I developed a novel investment strategy based on anti-fragility. What else? we have an instrument called Crisis Alpha that is the anti-fragile element in it. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Welcome to all of you. John, do you want to ask our first question, or if you will, just to get things kicked off?
Yes, just to set the note, I would like to pick your brains, all of you all, to if you all can let us and the audience know, per you, what do you think is agility, what is resilience, and what is anti-fragility? Maria can
Can
go
I go
first,
first?
please.
I'd like to go first
Yep,
because I
Maria.
was thinking about this yesterday when I was planning my weekly plan. Okay, so my weekly plan works like this. It's like every day, Monday to Sunday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I rigorously plan every week, every hour of the week and not only for work, but also what I do with my family and so on. And I think this helps me be agile because I now can work efficiently with my time. Then over the weeks that I've been doing this, I've realized that things don't go as planned, right? Like crises come up, or big things that I have to reschedule things. And so I noticed that I needed to do 2 columns per day. So it kind of looks like this, that when Tuesday, I look at Monday and I change how it went and now I have 2 columns, how it was planned and how it went. And then I had like 4 weeks after starting, I had another learning. And it was like, for example, for the post that I do on LinkedIn, I planned always 1 hour, but I need more than that. I need 2 or 3 hours. And now I readapt and have my plan that is more realistic. So planning the week is agile for me. Having 2 columns and adapting is resilient, and learning over the weeks and preparing the weekly plans over time is anti-fragile. This is my definition.
Thank you, Maria. Iten?
Yeah.
Yeah, as by the preparation of the meeting, I'm asking myself, what is agility? Agility, and um, I must say, often if we speak about agility, in my word, I'd say we speak about Scrum of different things. But for me, the key of agility is the capacity to embrace change and uncertainty. So, for me, more the yeah, this capacity is the agility, and then I will think about what is resilience. Resilience, so I will define that as capacity to survive to adversity. And in antifragility, I will define that as capacity to improve in adversity. And so for me, the difference between the first step, the first step is in the resilience. With the resilience, I survive. With the agility, I embrace the change. And with the antifragility, I'm improving myself with the change. So that was some faults that I have.
Okay, so may I continue? Yeah, I learned this word anti-fragility about 6 years ago. I had a severe crisis and I didn't know what to do. And then I just was looking for some input. And then I found Taleb's book on anti-fragility. And when I read this, a huge change happened to me. I just read this book and think, how can he know how can he know me so well? Before I just thought something wrong with me because I behave like this already for a long time, seeking problems, sometimes even creating problems, because I had the long time experience that, well, if there are the right problems, they help to improve yourself and also your environment, your colleagues or your family members, whatever. Yeah. So since that time, anti-fragility is really the big thing in my life. Yeah, because I feel that power after recovering from my crisis, and I have this so-called post-traumatic growth phenomenon. Yeah, I experienced this so vividly that for some time I could hardly believe it myself because there so much power was growing in me. And since that time, I do 3 startups. Yeah, I told you the last one is now on the market, and and it goes so well. Okay, so now about the other two. Okay, like Etienne said, resilience is, let's say, halfway to anti-fragility. Yeah, anti-fragility is really the above everything. Yeah, if you are not so far advanced, yeah, so it's already good if you are resilient. Yeah, if you have a crisis and then come back to the original state. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but I don't know if everybody has this ability. At least I have it very clearly. Yeah, that I improve far beyond that. Yeah, but and to do this in a, let's say, in a way that everybody benefits, of course, including myself, you need agility. Yeah, you have to react to what's going on in your environment. And so I'm not, let's say, probably I'm just opposite to Maria. I have nothing like this. Yeah, I more or less, I just dream at night. In the morning, some new ideas come up, and then I check my schedule, what I have to do, and then see how I can arrange everything to follow my new ideas. that's
Great.
that's my life. But I don't have children. I'm alone at home. My family is spread all over the world, more or less. Two children and my wife, and so this is possible. Of course, before that, 10 years ago, I was a bit more like Maria,
Yes, yeah.
but
You get me now.
more.
Even if I have 4 children, I have difficulties to plan, I must say. But I'm seeing actually I'm in process now where I'm trying to plan more, to find a better way to plan, because also I see that the complexity of my life needs some more planning and discussion.
Yeah, I know, I know. I mean, planning, I hate planning. Honestly, I am a chaotic person, and that's why I need this, because I wouldn't be productive otherwise. So I'm not proud of this, honestly, of the timetable that I have to do, but I have to do it. So
Mm.
So, John, do you want to ask a question, or should I interject, if you will, just to offer a question? John?
Maybe
Before we
maybe
get
just
started and dive deep down, go ahead, Norbert.
can I say something? I just got some idea. Yeah, so during this transition of mine, 5 to 6 to 7 years ago, I make the experience before. Well, I was much more planned and everything. Also, like I planned my jobs and positions and so on. I just planned this far ahead. After this crisis, I gave up everything like this. I just react on what's coming in, and there are so many things coming in that, and then I develop the ideas on these things coming in, that I can hardly follow all these. However, I always drive everything until it's on the street. Yeah, of course, I have the tendency to do too many things, and I force myself. Of course, I know. Yeah, if I do too many things, nothing comes out. Yeah, so I have, let's say, 2 or 3 major projects always going side by side. Yeah, but less is also not good for me, because then I get bored too easily.
I
Yeah, and
understand.
it's everything seems to me synergistic. Yeah, that I do one project, and then so many ideas are ignited from this one project for the other two. Yeah? And so I just need to change after maybe 1 or 2 days. Yeah, so that yeah, this is my way, and I
Mm.
enjoy it. I'm a completely different person. Yeah, before there has nothing been like this. Yeah, but after this change, it changed me so much. It's incredible.
Mm.
But it's very enjoyable, and a lot of results coming out of this. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, a topic which I'm thinking about that, if with the world of antifragility I discovered thank Norbert, I think the adversity is helpful to grow if it is not too much. So you need to be careful to not have to not be outside the way you can really recover or learn from that. You need to find the right doses, and and for me, actually, in my new work, since what I have here, I have so many things, and if I don't plan, if I don't make visible the work I do, I'm I don't achieve anything because it is too much. So it means at the end also in adversity, if you have too much things, at least at that moment you need to start to write things down, to find a system to prioritize, to find a system to manage with the adversity. And so long you have sometimes you don't think that, I think also that this topic of agility is not an endless topic. It depends of situation, what you are doing, what is, and at the end you need to find the right method for the right problems, and to be and yeah.
Excellent. Marie,
It's
did you have a
beautiful,
thought?
right?
No.
no, I have. I think you've seen, Sai, the different perspectives that we get. So how
Definitely.
how does it how does it reflect on you to have these different definitions? I'm wondering.
My good friend, there's many things I could say or ask. So we're focused on you by all means. John, did you have another question, or should I throw a question in
No,
to
no,
move us forward?
knowing that we are all different and how we go about our day-to-day things is all different. But the beauty of it is our intent is all the same. We are working towards the final goal, right? Be it different routes. But before we get into it, a small question, knowing that, change is natural and unavoidable. And this is the need of the hour today for all the corporate organizations: agility, resilience, and anti-fragility. When did this kick into you? When did this journey start for you all?
Hmm. Well, I think Norbert said it, no, with his crisis, and I think was it coincidentally that you came that this book was in your hands, Norbert, or were you looking for something for an answer to your quest?
Well, I think there are quite several aspects. Yeah, so when I was really deep in my crisis, I have my wife and my boss. They all helped me so much. And one day my boss told me, he said, "Well, Norbert, just take the time that you need, and you will see when you recover, you will make such an improvement. You will make a jump that you develop." He sees this already for several times, and he's an engineer as myself, but he is also has an interest in psychology. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
he explained this to me how this can happen, and probably this got so deep into my mind that I was, let's say, unconsciously looking for something like this, how to understand this better. Yeah, and then yeah, I was not satisfied with my progress coming out of the crisis. Yeah, and then one day I just think, okay, now it's a depressive phase should be over. Now I have to do something. Yeah, and then I started to look myself for anything that could help me, and I found two things that helped me a lot. This was neurofeedback. Yeah, you will be connected to many sensors and the computer and doing something on the screen, and this is a therapy which helped me a lot. And at the same time, I also discovered Caleb's masterpiece of anti-fragility, and this was really a breakthrough for me. Yeah, it's because before I thought something's not wrong with me because it seems I caused too much trouble. Yeah, and it always came out well. Yeah, that things improved a lot, but somehow I didn't see anybody else doing like this, just myself. And then I read this that this is a key principle, a key approach to make things moving. Yeah, if there is a tough situation, everybody is pulling back and waiting something to happen, and then you just put some bomb into it. Sometimes I did this. Yeah, if nothing is moving, I just yeah shake it up, and then uh, things really get moving. Yeah, and so he explained this to me, and yeah, now I practice this in all projects, all the time, around the clock, every day, every year, and these shaking up things, let's say, happen every 1 to 2 years. I don't overdo it. Yeah? I just do it when it's really absolutely necessary. Nothing is moving. Try everything. Yeah, and if really nothing is moving, then I let the bomb explode every once in a while, and then but also taking the risk on myself. It's always with a risk with to me also. Yeah. So after this, I always have the feeling, oh no, I overdid it. Yeah. What will be the result? But then everybody is trying so hard with full focus to solve this new problem. Yeah, and afterwards, it's every time it is so incredible how things improved. Yeah, I always have the impression I would have never come to the final result myself, even thinking 1,000 times over it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the, the,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
the, the really driving and anti-fragile transformation is the best thing I could think of. Yeah. So now with my friends of agility, my mission is to bring this to the world, to bring this to Bosch. Maria helped me with this a lot. Actually gave me the first idea, yeah, to start within Bosch, and then she also suggested that I initiate this community, Friends of Anti-Fragility, Then I met Sai, and so
And the
one
rest is history.
yes, yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's so nice. Yeah, things, and I just hope that I can drive this into the world and hopefully make it viral soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that we provide great content and that everybody likes it and thinks, oh well, this is quite a smart idea. Why not try it ourselves? Yeah, we just need everywhere some people, who start with it at the same time. And
Hmm.
this is a fantastic possibility, opportunity right now. And so I'm very thankful I met Sai with his Antifragility Institute, and we put our power of Bosch now behind it, and some more followers are already collected. Maybe in 1 or 2 months, it will be maybe tenfold. Who knows?
Mm. And for me, the topic, you know, to learn something, you need to be disturbed. If everything is fine and clear, you don't learn anything. I had today, I saw yesterday a video about that topic, which explained that if you have at the end of a lesson or something else, the feeling everything is fine, I understand everything, then you didn't learn anything. To learn something, you need to have it's strange. Also because to learn in the brain is creating synapses. It is it's consuming more sugar. That's as if you don't learn anything, and your brain is programmed to reduce to limit the consumption of sugar. So if your brain say, I don't want to work, I don't want, and that's why it is complicated at the end to make also to accept that something like antifragility is good for you. And of course, there is also some example where it is too much, where you are broken. But the fact that in order to improve, you need to have crisis, you need to have conflict, you need to have diversity at the end. So otherwise, you don't learn anything since you are only confirming what you are knowing. Your brain loved it to be confirmed, but you don't moving forward with that.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Um, I'll throw in my kids one more time because I have to blame them for everything. But actually, I learned about anti-fragility through my kids because
Of course.
the first time, like when my first son was born, I realized for the first time how much freedom I had before having kids. I didn't realize that, and then I had them, and then it was over. No, and because all the crises come in, and you plan, you know, just a side note, I had like my maternity leave, and I had planned all my also my hours, like the weekly plan, kind of like I will meditate, I will learn, I will have time because I'm not working, and then you know you have this kid needing you 24 hours a day. You can't even sleep, no? And so I first learned resilience, the concept of resilience, and through resilience and absorbing the crisis and what happens when things don't go as you expect and so on. And then later on I learned about anti-fragile and how it is like an upgrading status of resilience. And I don't know, they're both in my mind, they're bonded together because it's historically they came one after the other.
Mhm. I can completely rely with you with the. But I also explain, even if I explain that only from the outside because I'm the father, not the mother, but to have children. Everybody who is saying, I'm not, I'm not ready to have children. I say, stop it! You will never be ready. You will
You
only
know,
know what it is to have children if you have children. And I always say to have only one is not worth it because
it's
you learn sometimes you don't have time, but so if you have only one child, you learn so many things, but you are not really time to enjoy. I enjoy much more the second, third, and fourth
really okay.
small
That's
times
interesting.
because of course it's more work. Each time is more work, and each time you learn more and more. But at least you have also you can reuse things. You don't
Yeah,
you
you
are
can
not starting
recycle.
from
Yeah,
zero. You recycle your knowledge, and you can and so and also
be
the
better
other
at it. Yes.
yeah, and another thing is, from what I say always, is if you have one child, you have in the feeling you can control everything because you have in general case you have two adults for one child. Just I can control. with the second child, you have
One per
as
person,
much
no?
parents. It seems also to be out of control. And with more, with all, in our case, with four children, you are knowing you are not everything in control. And I realize with that also that even with one child, you don't have everything under control. But so this experience, by experiencing it, you are learning and growing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also for me, or in my diversity management work, I think it's very important to realize and to make also visible the the learnings which is coming with having children. There's a lot of our situation in life we can learn things, but children or parenthood is something which is very very variable because you learn to manage teams. You not
Mm-hmm. It's like
you
leadership. I mean,
it is leadership. It
you're
is leadership.
yes, yeah.
Your colleagues are not very different to your children. I must say, you cannot force them really to do things. You need to convince them, and
Yeah, exactly. You need to convince them. Yes, and maybe you never convince them. Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to accept that they are going another way as you want to.
Yes.
when when I was in that age that my children were quite small, maybe 5 to 10 years old, I had quite some problems in my family because I'm a very laissez-faire. I was a very laissez-faire father. Yeah, so my principle was let them gain the experience. Of course, according to the age, I protected them from too much risk. But if I think well they can handle, I just let them do. Yeah, but this gave me a lot of scolding from from my mother, from my wife. How can you do? How can you do that? Let the child do like this. What if something happened? So nothing happened. Nothing happened. And but I'm really I'm glad that I did this and I withstand this constant criticism because now our children are so autonomous. They which I did much later. They do already in the mid 20s. Yeah, they tackle problems and challenges. It's sometimes I still think, wow, what they do. Yeah, that's really that's good. Yeah, and so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I gave
but
I gave them a good start into business life. Yeah, it seems nothing is too challenging for them. Yeah, the older one is she frequently gets boring. Yeah, because the regulated life in corporates. Yeah, it's quite boring. Such a first time you always want to get around and try out new things. Yeah, so now she now she quit her job and she just go to Japan now. So I have to
All
see how.
right.
And I
See you
think
later.
she will make it there. She will make it anywhere. Yeah.
for me, the important thing in parenthood is also that you have to learn and to show your children that you also are learning all the time.
Yeah.
You, I remember for me, I come from French, and in France we have a quite authoritarian um, type of parenthood, let's say. Um, and I was facing with the way in Germany to do the thing which are more direction laissez-faire, and at the end, even I make I grow in the time, and the way I'm dealing with my children is from time to time different, and with each new challenge because of our age or whatever, you will learn new things. And I think also to I saw somewhere there is, let's say, three type of people of brain. There is something like the yeah perhaps long story short, at the end we can always learn. We as human being we can always learn independent of the age. Even somebody with 90-year-olds can learn to speak Japanese if
Japanese.
they are a reason to if you love somebody from there they will learn that. And I think that is very important to be aware of that. And I always like to make some similarities between people and organizations. And at the end we need to design the organization in a way they can also learn. And agility and antifragility, these things are really helping to also to at the end, if you are made from human beings which are learn able, then you should be able to learn. And if the structure are in stopping you in learning, it is a problem. You need to work on that and to change that.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's absolutely
That's
true. No? I'm almost 64, and I'm driving innovation in many domains. Yeah. So, and this is just the thing I like. Yeah. Learn something new every day. Yeah. And then build a new thing, build a new project out of it. Yeah. I'm not a coach. Yeah. But maybe now I'm getting into coaching. Who knows? Yeah? When I drive this anti-fragility, I think I need some coaching role for that. Yeah. But it's okay. I will learn it.
excellent. Excellent. So excellent stage setting and background and perspective and, if you will, day-to-day experiences. The question I'm sure a lot of our listeners have is, okay, you've got this conversation that's just unfolded, you've got tidbits of value, you've got some degree of differences, if you will, in how you're approaching it. If someone were to ask you, what is one thing that you could recommend I, as a listener, do differently in order to be more anti-fragile, or to be more resilient, or to be more agile, what recommendations do you have? Very practical recommendations for people.
I think the third thing, you should try to embrace challenges. You need to be careful, but I think you can only learn with challenges.
Okay.
If you are
For
doing something which is
example,
easy to you, you cannot learn anything. That means
it,
you need. The third thing is challenges. It is perhaps not very a nice thing to live in the moment, but it is worth to going through. Um,
Yeah, I can also confirm that. Don't give up. Yeah, this is the thing I would like to suggest, to propose to everybody. You will always have more chances than you think. Yeah, I experience this so often. Yeah, and I can just say never give up. Yeah, and also follow your dreams. Yeah, but don't compromise. Yeah, that's also another thing. Yeah, I read another book that is quite fits into this anti-fragile frame. That's never split the difference, from Chris Voss. Yeah, this is about negotiation techniques, negotiating methodologies. He's a former FBI chief negotiator for kidnappings, and I really love this book. Yeah, how it is written, and the wisdom that he shares in it. Um, it means, if you have a difference with somebody, yeah, of course, when you are in a negotiation, somebody, maybe you both want the same thing, or somebody else wants you to do something that you don't want. Of course, there's always a difference, and if you just find a compromise, usually it's not good for both. Yeah, but if you don't split this difference and don't compromise, but in a friendly and empathetic way, yeah, then you will find a much better solution for both of you, usually a win-win solution. Yeah. So this is the many paradoxes of life. Yeah. It's never like you think. Yeah? That's what I would like to suggest.
How about Maria, your thoughts, my friend?
yeah. I have a concrete thing that I heard 2 weeks ago. I was talking to my friend Hannah. Hannah is from the UK, and she lives in France for I think she's lived there for like 20 years. And at the beginning, it's really tough to learn a different language. I think everybody that is having a second, a third language understands this. And so, when English is your first language, English is kind of understood everywhere. So it was, for her, it was easy to go by, and not learn the language. But then she had a very difficult situation where she had a medical procedure, and she didn't know what was happening to her, because in the hospital everybody was talking in French. And it was she had like an epiphany on that day, and she said, no, I'm going to learn the language, because there's no way that this is happening again. And what she did after that day is to have her 5 mistakes a day. And so she would go out and talk to the post officer, talk to the baker, talk to everybody that could be there, and make 5 mistakes speaking in French. She would write down the mistakes, and then she would start the next day with the next 5 mistakes. And for her, it was much easier, much faster to learn through the mistakes she made. And I think this was such a concrete thing that she gave me, that I'm saying, yeah, 5 mistakes a day, keeps the doctor away, whatever. this is anti-fragile.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's from, yesterday I saw that video on about learning, and this also say that you can only learn if you make mistakes. You learn from differences. You learn only if you are seeing, oh, what I thought is not completely true. You need to have these experiments to be able to improve.
I disagree that the fact that you can only learn when you make mistakes. I agree in the fact that you learn much faster when you make a mistake, when you fail in front of people, and the more people that are watching, the more it keeps in your brain, right? Like, wow, okay, I have to learn, and this is going to be better next time for sure.
Yeah, my experience from learning is that you need both. You need theory and you need application. And yeah, these errors, these mistakes, you learn fast. However, if you don't have a background, yeah, sometimes it's maybe not possible to solve all problems. Yeah, so I like a mixture. I like to read books, yeah, uh, books on theory of this and that. However, not just for the fun of reading the book, but to apply it, yeah, to apply to reality, to practice. And of course, I feel better when I can apply new knowledge, and then I also seek the challenge. It's the same thing with me. Yeah, you learn much faster when you apply new knowledge to new challenges, and then of course you don't do it right from in the beginning. Yeah, but don't shy away from it. Yeah, just keep trying and then improving yourself. Yeah, this is the way.
But concerning the mistake, I have, even in your example, Maria, of your friend, she
Anna? Mhm.
starting to learn because she had the experience. Oh, I need that. I cannot continue not to speak French. I need to
Yeah.
learn. And also the same case, if
Okay. Hmm.
if you see, of course, you don't need to make mistake all the time everywhere and without any condition, but you need to find a way, an area where you can make in safe face mistakes. And of course, it's better if you don't have need these operation to be able to find the need to learn, but
Right.
sometimes you
Right.
need that. And but you need to have at least to understand, why do I need to make these efforts to learn? And
Hmm.
it is very understandable that that if you are speaking English, and since English is the language we're using worldwide, a lot of people don't need it. I saw in France a lot of people which have the same problem. They don't need anything else because in their daily life there no need to speak English or something else. And I mean, this to you need to have a need to be able to learn. And that is what I mean with make mistake. This mistake is
Yeah.
something which
Yeah. No,
helps
I
you
get
to
it.
learn. And another thing, what I think, what I will, I'm diversity manager now since 1.5 years, and I think also to search for diversity, and you need to be actively searching for diversity. You need to search for people which are thinking differently to you, because they will help you to learn. If you keep, of course, it's very nice to think to stay with people we are sympathical, we have the same ideas, and yeah, we have a lot of joy, and but we are, yeah, we have enjoying but not learning. So to and you, it is very important. Even I've somehow difficulties. There are some ideas I don't want to be close to, but want now to share that, or to and want to. There is kind of people where I have a lot of bias, and sometimes I am very afraid to go into them because of my bias. But only to go into the light of the people which are different to you, you will relative you discover that they are also human beings. You could discover a lot of things which are interesting on the truth they are
Hmm.
carrying with us than them, which will help you to improve, to make your understanding of the world, your understanding of the things to be better.
Hmm.
Excellent. John,
Thank
did
you,
you have a
Etienne.
question or did you have a question?
Yeah, to the panelists, right? From a personal standpoint, I understand. I've got to be open towards learning, and then this is a journey. But when I'm in an organization, when I'm not a sole contributor, I work with other folks, I partner with them as a team. And if we have to reach that level of learning as a group, as a team, what would you suggest? Some insights on that area.
But before you answer, panelists, if you let me add to John's point, someone
Mhm.
listening to the conversation would say, well, learning applies to agility, resilience, and anti-fragility. But resilience, agility, and anti-fragility are more than learning. So perhaps as you answer the, as a tag on to John's question, help us see where the differences are beyond learning.
The question for me is are you sure? For me, agility is about learning. Perhaps resilience not. I think for me, resilience is more and status, but agility is about learning. I use agile frameworks things since I have in a certain way. I'm not really sure. As soon I am knowing what have to be done, I can use a waterfall to work. It is much more efficient. So at the end, and I think these even in the work, it is all about learning. If you are not learning in the work, you in a company you have regularly or a lot always new challenging to face up, and the challenging are so complicated that one people cannot solve this challenge. That's why we need the teams. We need to find a way to gather the different pieces of truth that everybody will want. We need to have some friction between us to grow together and create new solution which help us to go further. That means that for me that everything is learning at the end.
So excellent point, Etin. So if everything is learning, why do we use the word agility or resilience or anti-fragility? Just call it learning. So there has to be some distinguishing factor that makes it more than learning. That's the
Well,
question to
well,
you, panel.
well, I would say agility, resilience, and anti-fragility is driving learning. Yeah, yes, of course. I was a knowledge manager of Bosch 10 years ago. And I also have the tendency to explain everything as knowledge management. Yeah, of course, everything is knowledge in such a company. Yeah, you develop new products, you have to solve problems, you have to do this and that, and everything is based on a good understanding. And so in the end, it is knowledge. Yeah, you improve your knowledge by learning, by applying it, and then learning new things. And so more or less these three things are driving learning. But I wanted to also say something else. The main point why I know HN, yeah, we are in different units of our corporate is diversity. Yeah, for me, diversity is a must-have enabler for all these three aspects. Yeah, agility, resilience, and especially anti-fragility. Yeah, diversity will cause friction. Yeah, and as we have already discussed, yeah, this will drive yeah everything. And your question, Sai, was what are we doing in our, let's say, everyday work? Yeah, so I can just say the same thing. Yeah, I try to challenge my teams, and obviously I I do it so well because once I had a colleague, she didn't. She just visit us once or twice in our team to contribute some small thing, and then afterwards, she told me, "How can you work together? You are quarreling so much when you work in in the team." But I said, "Yes, we enjoy it." She said, "No,
Mhm.
cannot be." but but we of course we have the same vision, and we make the experience. The more we challenge each other, the better for our for advancing towards our vision. Yeah, so this is something I would also suggest. Try it out. Yeah, try not
Mhm.
to read too much. Yeah, don't seek harmony. Seek
Yeah,
seek
I like
friction.
that.
Don't have enough.
Um,
Cause some friction. Challenge your colleagues.
yeah, and I think for this, Norbert, one thing is very important to talk about. We talk about diversity and different ideas, but you guys, that's very uncomfortable when people are in the room and are thinking differently than you are. It's really hard. No, it's much easier to talk to the people that are like-minded. However, these teams and these ideas are going to be, or the teams, diverse teams getting together and putting good ideas and are making bigger impact. This is a fact. This has been proved. But I think it's very important to normalize this uncomfortable. Talk about the fact that it's uncomfortable to discuss and work with people that have a very different mindset that you have. It's harder, it takes longer. Actually, like if you just need one idea from a team, no matter what, this idea will come much sooner from a bunch of like-minded people. But if you want an idea that has a bigger impact, an idea that is more powerful, an idea that is, something anti-fragile, for example, it's going to be uncomfortable to get there. It's going to take longer to get there. It's going to take more energy and more responsibility from all the people. And I think this is one of the things that goes in the direction that of Sai's question, normalizing this uncomfortable and trusting that the others can say, well, what you just said, it's not okay. I disagree. It doesn't mean I disagree with you as a person. I disagree with your ideas,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
And
For me, I'm asking myself,
sorry.
if you ask Sai the difference of learning and agile resilience and fragility. The first thing what I would say is I most of the time I heard the word resilience to let people be patient in something to accept the status quo, and that's why I don't like much more that word. I much prefer the anti-fragility
Yeah.
approach to say we have a challenge and we will grow, we will become better because of the challenge, so we don't are in status quo. And and the agility and so that's why I prefer to focus myself on agility anti-fragility, because both are for me more sympathetic, let's say. And without these small smell of yeah, I want you to keep be quiet, don't change anything, be resilient. um but and I think the agility um, perhaps has some kind with the word agility, I'm also, of course, connecting different practices which help me to work in a working content. And for example, I also for agility, I have more. For me, there's um, agile projects make sense. Agile business makes sense. Agile organization is quite something will need to be defined. Let's say, and so I discovered last year the topic of social crisis, which for me make agility in the organization context more tangible behind the work in agile time teams. And yeah, for me the difference is very perhaps more the in the anti-fragility, I see the focus more. You have a challenge which is hurting you and you improve with that. And in the agility world, see perhaps more the you have I'm considering the situation which is volatile, which are a lot of things, and I try to to deal with that. I have some sense of methodology which permit me to deal to embrace the change and live with that. And in both cases, I will learn things, but there is some or different focus on the in the discussion.
Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful elaboration. And I actually I want to hone in on very specifically, that's in your description of people saying to be resilient, be patient. Resilience and patience, it's the wrong message exactly to that point. So thank you for sharing that, because that's definitively, resilience is not about being patient, if you will. So thank you for saying it. Excellent.
But I'm asking myself, which if it's not using as being patient, let's say, what is the use? What do we need to speak about resilience if we have anti-fragility and agility? What
Exactly.
is the plus of resilience words? Let's say.
Yeah. And that's why we go after the distinction. Very, very, very well said. Very well said. So, so John, did you have another question, or should I throw a question into the mix?
Yes, I do, but I'll let you go, Sai.
Are you sure, my friend? If you have a question,
Okay.
please throw it in, or a thought.
So, from an organization standpoint or from leader standpoint, how are we helping these organizations prepare for the unknown, knowing that we are in that situation when things are changing overnight? How do we prepare for something like this?
Well, it's kind of hard.
I think
No,
I think for
Yeah,
me, if you want to make something or to change something, you need to know why you are doing that.
need a
To
vision.
prepare an organization, you need to have a reason, and to make this reason transparent. Why do we need to do anything? And it's the same. It's the same means it needs to be a sense of urgency to move forward, and that's why. And then you first need to be transparent with why I'm doing that, and then you can rely on the resources of your organization. Sometimes also with the help of outside your organization, because we have also within an organization a lot of bias which we also people don't like to change in general. That's why we will keep to stay like we are. So sometimes we need also energy from outside to be able to change. So
Um, one thing I like to talk about your question, John. Um, Sometimes we just can't prepare to what's going to happen. We saw that with the COVID pandemic. I think this was a great example of things that didn't go that weren't prepared. Like many companies weren't anti-fragile. They couldn't absorb this crisis. They weren't prepared for it. And then you saw other companies that thrived during this pandemic. And I think this is the paradigm that all we're trying to predict what may happen, and you may I don't know, go over the normal zone, let's say, and over prepare for whatever may happen. I think now that we left the COVID pandemic, are more willing to spend money and prepare for crises that are never going to happen and go over budget for that. But before it was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not producing here because we can produce in China, which is much cheaper. Whatever things we were doing just to save money, that is not the way to go. And now we know that we have to prepare because another crisis may come and will come actually. And the thing is how to prepare for that. And one thing is to go crazy ideas that will never happen.
but I think for me the thing is what you say also with your planning, Maria. So I
Matthew?
have a plan, I saw how it is changing, and with that I'm learning to go further. And that's the organization need to do the same at the end. And some organizations say, okay, we was some I think the people which thrived during the corona crisis, they were at least good enough prepared to deal with such a thing like that. We have something, the resources on there, and um the danger is to say it is a way where I'm come back as before, and there is a lot of leaders which have difficulties to embrace also these hybrid work, let's say. And that means that to be able to the thing is to have an challenge is only helpful if you really learn and learn in a long time. And since we need to be careful in organization to not be too much in the short term, we need to have a good balance between short and
Right.
long term
Mhm.
to be able to really learn from the
Mhm.
things. And yeah.
What I find most challenging with organizational transition is to, let's say, disrupt or destroy old things. Yeah, I think this is the biggest obstacle against development, against transition. You have too many old things that are working well. Why change a running system? Yeah, that's a saying in
Mhm.
software development. Yeah, but sooner or later, a point will come. Yeah, and why do we need Corona, COVID-19? Why do we need Ukraine war, something like this? Then
Yeah.
suddenly everything gets changed, gets in the transition and coming out quite better. Yeah, like we have this digitalization. Yeah, didn't move ahead, but once Corona came, everything went digital within a few weeks. How come? Yeah, and how can we, let's say, institutionalize this disruption, this destruction? Yeah, there is the Indian Trimurti, yeah, who have these three gods, yeah, for creation, for preserving, and for destroying. Yeah, so this is needed to drive transformation, to drive change in societies, in organization. But somehow we are good at creation, at innovating, and also at preserving. but we are not good in disruption, in destruction. We should not need COVID or wars, yeah, to fulfill this destruction. There should be more, let's say, institutionalized destruction function or role or whatever in organizations in society. Maybe I think of like these non-government organizations like Greenpeace, and so they are causing trouble. Yeah, but maybe not enough. Yeah, so
But
that we still need such big catastrophe. How to avoid this? How to create more disruption and destruction on a small scale, so that everybody has to deal with destruction every day, get used to it, and then handle this much better and avoid such large catastrophes like uh, pandemics or wars even.
I'm not sure
Do you
we
have
can
any?
avoid catastrophes, Norbert, but I think at the end, probably if you're not aware enough of your challenges or your weaknesses, you cannot work against that. So then the thing what some organization have problem is that they don't see the challenges that they have because there is perhaps too many hierarchy which are not
Layers?
communicating well together. That means, and at the end, we need to find the right amount of changes. If there is system with no need to be changes, you need to find the and on it needs to be the right doses of challenges to permit to continue to grow. This is for me it's very important to be careful also in the doses because at the end, if it's too much, you destroy things, you destroy people also at the end. So the burnout is something with very a huge problem, and it's almost something because we are always speaking without any boundaries.
Absolutely, yeah. But how to dose this in the right way? Yeah. So
I
this
think
is
the
a
first thing is you need to be to make transparent about the challenges, to find a way to be very transparent is what is going on. And
yeah,
that is something, and to of course I love the sociocratic idea where you try the organization so that every voice is listened and cannot be ignored. And we go need to go through in such direction that means the higher management need to be aware that they are only seeing a piece of the puzzle.
mm,
They need the other part, the other hierarchy level, the other functions to complete the picture and really have and that need trust to be able to say, hey, there is a problem. I don't need to make that more beautiful as it is to you, manager. It is the truth, and you trust me, and we can work together well, and I can give my piece of the puzzle to your vision.
absolutely good point. Yeah.
Excellent. So we need we need another hour at least for the
We need days.
conversation.
We need days here.
We need days, exactly, exactly. And I know we're running up on time, if you will. So, sort of closing thoughts from your perspectives, the panelists, and then John and myself will offer some closing thoughts. But perhaps Maria, closing thoughts from your vantage point.
Yeah. I work with. I used to work with a person that I didn't agree with many things, and on the other side, I loved working with him. So I say in the end, come like the accept skeptics have to come to me, and we have to make the idea better. So I stay humble, I stay curious, and I try to adapt.
Beautiful, beautiful. Words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Maria. Words of wisdom. Etchen, my friend, how about yourself and closing comments?
I think we need more transparency and also this awareness that we are all completing each other. And if we are focusing on that and searching people which are completing us, if you are completing me, you are different to me. And if you are completing me, you will be sometimes, yeah, nervous. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
Un-
disturb
Annoying.
me, and but it is good like that, and we need to be actively and to find the right doses and disturbance we need to grow and not to be destroyed.
Excellent.
okay, so
Beautiful words of wisdom. Very, very key. And Norbert, forgive me. Yes.
yeah, okay, so I take along with me that this is the right thing I'm doing. Motivate people to talk about this thing. Yeah, we don't talk. We just try to get our work done, and then we are glad when we finish it, and then finish. No, then the real fun starts. Yeah, talk about what we feel, what challenges we have, make them conscious, and challenge each other. Yeah, to drive each other forward. Yeah, and this is how I understand my mission, what I have to do. Yeah, introduce such concepts, agility, resilience, and anti-fragility. Yeah, this is my main point, and make this more known, and let motivate people to build up competency. Yeah, and then we all will benefit from it.
Beautifully said. Very,
I would
very,
like
very
to say
elegant.
some,
Yeah.
Sai, if I
Yeah.
earlier for
Please,
people which are
please.
watching to us, I'm sorry since sometime I wasn't seeing on the camera because I also need to manage some of my children. No, that's
All
why
good.
for the people which are not with our chats to understand what is happening, why I'm doing that.
All good. All good. Words of wisdom from all three of you. What wonderful. Thank you all three by all means for the conversation and for the guidance. There's a lot to take away and a lot to digest by all means, and I'm sure the community benefits from it. John, my friend, yourself in closing comments.
This is why I love these kind of conversations. Like Maria said, show up as a kid, full of enthusiasm. Don't be scared of failures, right? Don't be scared of people judging you. And like Ethan said, hey, show up over there. Don't look at problems as problems. Look at them as challenges and opportunities. And like Norbert says, don't rest, don't relax, don't chill. Be after it, gun after it till you get the value that you get out of it. But more importantly, he said all this starts with conversations that are very uncomfortable, but we need to have. Thank you so much for all this.
Thank you, John.
Thank you
Most
all.
most definitively, and to close out, if you will, from my vantage point, we've taken an interesting path where we started. I just want to highlight a few things, if you will. We started talking about extremes, if you will, either stable or not stable, or disordered, or planning or not planning, how much planning. We started with extremes, and we said, let's think about the balance, if you will, the in between is where we went. We talked about risk and context. I think it was Maria that brought up context, or Etten perhaps, and the risk that comes in. Too little, too much risk. One of the key things, if you will, I think that we really honed in on, especially Etten guided us there, is we need to have a degree of destruction, but it can't be that it jeopardizes our, if you will, survival at that point. So the right degree of destruction can be very powerful. And that's why it's called creative destruction. Too much destruction, everything dies at that point. So there is that balance to be found. Um, the pieces that you also all brought up, challenges are very big, exactly as you've emphasized. Not giving up, but there is a time to actually give up. If you're going to die, you have to give up because you've jeopardized, you've gone beyond survival. At that point, you're not anti-fragile, you're dead. So I think those are very key things. The one of the big things I'll mention, when anti-fragility emerged, bullying became a big topic. Because bullying essentially, well, I'm bullying you. I want to make you anti-fragile. No, you're bullying me. It's not anti-fragility. It's bullying at that point. So a very key distinction that comes up. Leveraging mistakes as learning opportunities, exactly. But anti-fragility, resilience, and agility go beyond the learning, as you've all guided us. Uh, we learn together as we journey forward. So panelists, thank you all
Thank
around.
you.
And
Thank you.
John, thank you. And we thank the community
My
for
pleasure,
joining us.
Sai.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to future conversations. And with that, we look forward to the next panel conversation amongst more. So thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a nice
Thank you.
day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.